We are live on Kick, YouTube. We are up and running on YouTube. Let's hit that go live button on Facebook. Okay, YouTube's online. I can see it now. Facebook. We are live on Facebook. Welcome everybody to the Sam Crescent Art Show. This is Sam Crescent, and it is Monday, May 11th, 2026. And this is day 20. This is live stream number 22. And this is 22 days in a row of going live every single day. How's everybody doing? This is a bit later in the day for me compared to what I usually do. So if you haven't joined me before, welcome. If you have joined me before, welcome as well. I am currently in this live stream going to be working on my comic book Strength Monsters, an action-packed action-adventure series that I created about two characters, pro wrestlers / monsters. The League, all the characters are monsters, but these guys have to defend their legacy, and they go on all kinds of adventures together. The current story arc we're dealing with is an entire city has been taken over by zombie monkeys, and my characters, Raw King, who is a Frankenstein type prototype, and Evil Robot, who is a recycled space droid. They have to handle business, and there's a huge cast of characters, all kinds of jungle animals, mad scientists, and other things happening. The way the live stream format is, I basically just have to warm up every single time first, and that's all I'm doing right now, is I'm just drawing some circles very poorly right now. It takes me a while to get my drawing brain booted up and going. And so I'm just drawing circles in different directions here in between lines. And that's the warm-up exercise I'm doing right now. And I'm going to try and concentrate a little bit more on this to get these things a little bit more symmetrical and maybe a little bit more accurate. We'll do one more row, and then we'll go with a horizontal lines instead of vertical ones. So that's the rundown of the show, and I've been running it now every day for 22 days straight. Will I be able to keep this streak going? No. This weekend I will be at Comic-Con Revolution. I think it's Comic-Con Revolution because it's a revolution of comic conventions. Just like when Paul Revere started the Revolutionary War, I don't know, they warned of the coming of the British troops so everyone could prepare for the Revolutionary War. Well, the Paul Revere of comic books has started this revolution of Comic-Cons called Comic-Con Revolution. Now, we've sounded the horn, and I have no idea, actually. I'm just making everything I just said, I just made up. It's just a name. This convention is going to be in Ontario, California. If you don't know where Ontario is, it's part of the Inland Empire. It's near Riverside and Rancho Cucamonga and that whole area up there. I'd say up there because I'm down south. I'm down in the southern part of California, further south than Los Angeles, down in the San Diego region where I was born and where I have lived most of my life. Notice these circles are improved since the last ones I did, because my brain's warming up now. So we're going to end that. I'm just going to freehand some of these bad boys now. Just work these circles around here and let's try to get this stuff fully operational, as they'd say in Return of the Jedi, when dealing with the name of the bad guy's realm, the Death Star. So, that's enough of that. Let's draw some boxes in perspective. You know, I've been drawing this box, I feel like, forever now. Hopefully, I've improved my ability to draw it. But it's sometimes hard to tell. I mean, clearly I'm going maybe a little faster and less careful with this box. Last week, we did this out of George Bridgman's book. See if I can remember it. Draw one of these. And if you don't watch my streams, you won't know about what this thing even is. Yikes. Then we add the thick and thin. That's a little too much. So as I was saying, Comic-Con Revolution will be this weekend in Ontario, California. And then I don't remember what's the weekend after this one. I just completed Rose Bowl flea market yesterday at the world famous Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena. You know, there's a structure here that I forgot about. He had this structure here that tucks down in. So surprisingly, I'm remembering some of this thing. Now, I can't remember what other stuff he had on it, though. Like, he had a chin somewhere. I don't remember, like, how he was doing this rest of this thing. I think he had a chin there. He had something like this. Okay, well, the ear has to be here. So the ear has to be there. So, jaw would come up here like this. Maybe something like that. I don't remember it. Well, I can't remember how the rest of this thing went. But I know it was something like he had this like head coming up here. This was the neck structure here. I think he did something like that with the traps coming out. He did have the collarbones here coming back. But I don't remember. And I'm not going to look it up. Let's move on. That's how much I remembered. I'll have to look that up next time. I'm going to draw some new Bridgman stuff today. We're going to do a torso study. So let's pull that out. What I can do now is... There's the Bridgman thing right here. Let's see if we can see it. No, we can't. Maybe if I adjust this canvas, then you can see what I'm looking at when I'm doing the study. So I want to try and draw this thing. I'm going to take off this jacket. It's getting hot. The Rose Bowl yesterday was good. It was Mother's Day. It's usually actually really good sales on Mother's Day there. this was surprisingly, it was less busy than it usually is on Mother's Day. Usually the Rose Bowl Mother's Days are a lot busier, but it was still fine. It was still a profitable market, so I'm not gonna complain about it. Oh, well, we'll just go with it like this. And normally what we do in my family is we just celebrate Mother's Day the day before. And, well, at least with my wife and everything, celebrate Mother's Day the day before, and I spend time with my wife and everything then. But she was out of town anyway for some family things. And so that was why that was basically all that mattered about that. All right, let's talk about this Bridgman illustration that we're looking at. We're looking at the torso from the kind of the side view, but we can see a little bit of the front. And you've seen how he's got the chest here. This here, I believe, is like kind of the scapula that he's drawn in there. He's got the head of the deltoid like that. Backs here, curving. And then this is all the rectus abdominis musculature. And let's just get a swooping line here rather than segmenting it, because we've got the rib cage here that he's kind of shown us coming up. And then he's got the serratus anterior muscles. What is the serratus muscle? All of a sudden, I remember that muscle, but I don't remember what it was. Serratus. We have the serratus anteriors here, and he's showing the different. They come down like this, actually. So I got the angle wrong on that last one. 1, 2, 3. He's got 4 of them. Comes here, 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 and there. And this is the obliques, like this. And you notice he's indicating the direction of the muscle fiber. He also did this to show the volume of this thing. Now we've got the lower abdominal muscles, which he kind of used this shading to indicate that that's turning under. Here's the navel. And then he's got the upper abdominal muscles. And that's kind of neat how he did this. Kind of line here to indicate that. And all this is the lats, and he's got these lines curving, showing, to show the volume, I think, of what we're looking at here. So that's a Bridgman torso from the side. Maybe I'll kind of thicken this up a little bit and correct myself. A little more there. And notice his shoulder is pretty angular here. There. This here, the armpit, and he's got the tricep muscle coming out there, because the deltoid, the tricep would be something like that. The heads of it. The deltoid's here, and it would be wrapping over like that. Like the tricep could be like some big mass like that actually. But now I'm making things up. Let's look at this here. So in the Bridgman's book, we've got this diagram here showing kind of more what's going on underneath. So this area here, he's got the iliac crest of the hips. And right here would be the, I believe that's the anterior superior iliac spine. Have to double check though. ASIS. He's got some rendering here just showing that this is turning under. Comes back. Here. You'll see how this, if you make this one shape, it's just like there, here, here, here. And then this is basically just if we sketch down a diagonal there. This right here, this cavity here that he's showing in here, that's where the greater trochanter plugs into of the femur, which is the leg bone. Let's just show that a little bit better. So that would be, you know, in here. And then, so we got that. I believe this is called the ischium. Have to double check me on that one too, though. Let's fix that a little bit. Here, 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 here. And there's like a circle here. And this right here is the sacrum. This little thing that he's got, this abstract kind of looking shape there. All right, now he's showing how the obliques come in and attach to this crest of the hip. And then he pulls them up, and he's showing here, so he's got the rib cage here. See if I can just get all this in a big shape here. Something like that. Okay, so if I were to draw in this rib cage somewhat, we've got the sternum here. But the main thing that he's showing is how these muscles are coming off the ribs. Okay, and I don't have this accurate, but that's the main thing what he's showing is how the ribs, the sartorius muscles are basically coming off the ribs and then running into the obliques. And then he's turning the obliques this way, showing the form here, curving them this way. These are contour lines he's using to describe kind of how the surface of these muscles go. I don't remember what this is here, but we've got the lats, the latissimus dorsi muscle, and you see this one right here. That's right here. He's got the radius, or the humerus, I mean. The radius is on the forearm. The humerus is the upper arm. So he has the humerus right here. And the lats actually attach to the front third, kind of front upper third or so of the humerus. This is a scapula right here. Boom. There's the acromion process right there. This is the radioscapular joint right there. Okay. And then you've got the lats that, you know what? That is the lat going down. The lat also attaches to the hip. It's a gigantic muscle on the back. So that's it. That's the anatomical Bridgman study of the day. I'm going to do one more study before I start working on my comic book. And I'm going to work on some hands from Bridgman's book called The Book of 100 Hands, I believe. And these books are all public domain. You can get them. Like Google actually digitized this book. If I bring it over here, you can see it. So we'll draw this. So notice when he's drawing this hand, what can I learn from this is it's kind of a big wedge, and so I'm trying to just get the big shape of it, and you notice there's like nothing noticing that like he doesn't draw all the individual fingers and stuff. Draws it more as as just a large shape. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna get this knuckle that he's got sticking up, put in there. Comes down, and so that, yeah, kind of like that. He put a little shadow on this side of it to describe the plane. And this is here. Comes across, cuts up. Notice he didn't draw that whole thing. He just went there. There's that kind of triangle. He did another one here. There. Now this one's here, comes back through. So now that you can see what I'm drawing, you can practice if you're into drawing. But if you're not, you don't have to do it. Bring that down a little more. And this is all in shadow. It's in shadow. That's turning there. Now he's got the pad of the, forgot the name of that. Of the pinky side. This is the styloid process of the ulna, I think. The radius is on the thumb side. This tendon here, that's the palmaris longus tendon. And that's a muscle that doesn't exist in everyone, or some people it only exists on one side. Okay. The pad of the thumb. And then I really like how he made this thumb look like it's, you know, reaching to make the fist. Kind of gives it a little more tension, you know? Let's go up here where it's supposed to insert in. Now he did put the whatever that is, thumbnail on the thumb. There we go. So there's the Bridgman fist. He's kind of got some other stuff going on here, but that's pretty much the whole gist of it. I'll reinforce these lines a little bit because I just kept my other lines in. I didn't bother erasing them or knocking them down or anything. Just gonna let the construction lines kind of be there. All right, so there's one study there of the fist. Let's go to maybe another one. These hands look more feminine. We can do one of these. Looks kind of hard. Try one of these, and then we're going to work on the comic book, okay? So, put this here. It takes a lot of concentration, so sometimes it's hard for me to talk about life stuff or tell stories about things and draw stuff at the same time, but doing the best I can, and the more I do these live streams, probably the better I'll get. I'm just going to try and get the big shape here, not get, you know, this is like a big fan shape maybe, not get caught in the weeds, but notice the angle there is kind of like that. And then it cuts here and comes you know, this way. Like this is a little too much, more like that on his. He's got the palm, the bone. So let's try to see what we can make out of this. I'm going to start with this knuckle. Come up and get that index finger with a knuckle. Now I made my knuckle way too big, which is going to make it less feminine. Because I'm thinking this is a more, well, it feels like a more feminine hand to me. And that's why. But I'm already exaggerating stuff beyond what Bridgman did. This knuckle is, yeah, up here more. Whoops. Okay. That's the middle finger. Get this one. The ring finger. This is probably like way too much. And then notice this line there, kind of there. So you don't want to go out too far. Probably take it to there. And then he's got this nice little overlap here on the pinky. For me, this is harder than that fist. Probably because you've got these things more, he's got more things kind of segmented out, but they'll have to stay in the correct relationship to one another. Something like that. There. So there we go. And then he indicates the palm and the thumb over here, but it's not very well developed. So we'll do that. Now let's just clarify this a little bit more. So I'm not really even checking Bridgman's that much anymore. I'm more looking at mine and trying to go, okay, like, how can I make this look better? So let's fix that. Got like the skin kind of overlap there, comes down. Then he has some knuckles indicated in here. And he's got some rendering coming this way to show that it's turning down and doing that. That's a tough hand. If I was going to simplify the shapes of this hand, let's do this. We would go, whoops. We go here, 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 something like that. Kind of a wedge. Like the hand is more wedgy in some ways than it is. And then if we go like this, gives us the angles of those knuckles. You know. So I'm just looking to kind of like, if I'm going to take this and be able to use it into my comic book work, I'm more looking for how I can take this form, kind of simplify it so I can reproduce it in my own comic books and such. So I might change it a little, try and make it a little bit more effective, for simplified, for, you know, making a character having this kind of expressive hand. So something like that. And then, you know, can make a thumb there. I don't really think it's that necessary, you know, to show that there's a thumb and a palm over there. But now the challenge is, can we, you know, draw this hand in from another point of view? That would be very hard. I don't want to rotate it towards me because then we're seeing the palm side and it becomes a different drawing. So what we have to do is rotate it away from us. This is still the pinky. I think I'm going to bring those up a little bit more. Do I have more canvas up here? So it's rotated a little bit, but I can see my brain is already trying to push it back to how the one in Bridgman's drawing is. So I'm going to try not to look at Bridgman's here. Be better if I put my hand here to cover it, or I should just put it off the screen. Maybe I'll just kind of move this over here. But although I can still see it there, so. But if I look at it there, you know, I might be less influenced to draw what Bridgman drew. Yeah, that pinky's completely whack. Let's just give that whole pinky another go. So we know this is not bad. I'm drawing kind of dimensionally so I can kind of still think about it. Something like that. So I'll try to rotate it a little bit over so it's still Bridgman's hand, but from a different angle. Mostly Bridgman's hand. This is off. Like his is kind of. I'll fix it to his if I can. His kind of extends up more, but not like that. Something like that. I'm just gonna put this pinky there. Well, that's too high up. Be like that. Turn it under there. All right, that's enough warm up. Let's work on the comic book. We're 30 minutes into the stream now. Still working on the same page. It pretty much been doing for the last while. This guy says, "Are you going to be at Creep by E Aftermath?" Yes, I will. Hopefully, I'll have a lot of new stuff ready for then. I'm working on things that I can bring to Creep by E Aftermath. I should start posting my schedule more on my Instagram, of all the places I'm going to be at, because there's lots coming up. Let's get that down. All right, so I got to turn off these characters. And we're going to draw this guy, but I'm going to make him different because this is a guy that I already drew reversed. I think it's this guy. Yeah, so there he is. I drew him like that. And then I drew this guy. So let's get him so he's not being cropped off. I can crop him later if I want, but that way we get the whole character in. And we're just trying to populate this background, and hopefully this page will finish. I'll finish it up soon, but you never know. This page has been taking me a really long time. To get done. And I'm giving this guy like these like goggle thingies. He's gonna have a helmet on. I could like, let's put a, well, we got to show that he's back to being a normal human kind of. So I'm going to put in some lips here. Chin strap. Helmet. Whatever this is. That was supposed to be his cheekbones, and it just turned into like weirdness. Let's get his straps on for his glasses. For his goggles. We'll put some mechy looking things on his helmet here. Or this isn't really mechy looking, just some kind of line stuff. Okay. Put that on. We want to think of something we can do that's like a little different, you know, to make this guy look a little more interesting. Well, I don't really have any ideas about it. Let's just make some weird stuff up here. Let's just go with what we have, but we'll make it more. Yeah, I am starting to feel kind of like this page has been taking so long that I'm ready for it to just be done. because I want to get on with this comic, and it feels like I've just been drawing it for a million, bajillion, quadrillion years now, this page. Because I think we've been stuck on this page for weeks. That's just the way it goes, though, sometimes. You just have to kind of figure out a way to get through it. I like the idea where I was going with it, but I just kind of went too big because we wanted to be able to do 3 of these little padded areas across. Bring that in. And we'll strap it on here. All right. Yeah, I got started late with the stream today too, because I was just obliterated from Rose Bowl yesterday. It I'm up for about almost 24 hours whenever I do that market, and it's pretty rough on me now. I used to do it no problem, but lately it's been harder for me to grind through that kind of all the sleep deprivation and stuff. What I'll do actually, here's what we'll do with this guy. So he's got this, and then we're gonna give him a cut off t-shirt here. Cut off t-shirt there. Cut off, and we'll have it come down like this. Abs are gonna be in here. And we got those oblique muscles. Now we'll have him with his utility belt on. And yeah, you know, you got to spend time looking at fashion, but not what people are making now. Go look back at 60s, 70s, 30s, 90s, 40s, you know, look at the fashion in the past through the different eras and just see kind of like what kind of the ridiculous stuff people would wear, what kind of outfits they had, you know. Sometimes I used to do Pinterest on that, you know, where I'd have like a board and be like swimwear from the 1960s and, you know, aerobics workout clothes from the late 70s and just all kinds of stuff like that. Those shorts are too low. I want this to be more like a 70s style dolphin shorts or something. I think that's what they call them, was dolphin shorts. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. There we go. Then we'll do some big old knee pads though. like this, actually. Let's put some big rivets here, kind of holding them on. And they'll strap around. That's a pretty cool knee pad. That's pretty neat. Just throw it through. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I think are going to come into fruition this next year, but whoa. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but things started drawing all weird. Okay, let's get the rivets in, and let's get the knee pad stabilizers on with the wrap here, and then we'll do some leg muscles in here. That's pretty okay, I guess. Arms are like a little too long, or his legs are too short. I think his legs are a bit too short, but fix it later. I don't like this foot. Let's change it. Man, I'm like on a whack foot for some reason. Let's move this down a little bit more so it's less in my way. Medial malleolus, there's the heel coming through, and let's just get the overall shape. Good enough. Yikes. No, that's fine. All right, that's okay there. Man, I'm just tired. I'm not thinking much. It's kind of weird. Let's fix this arm here. I don't like this forearm and hand. It's just not good. This one's fine, I think. This just doesn't look good. And then let's like fix his proportions a little bit. So let's make this guy's legs and lower body a little bit longer so he's a little taller. We'll lower this arm down just a tad. Up there, that distorted the fist like crazy, so on an already distorted fist. So what we'll do is we'll just move it where we want it to be, and then we'll pull the rest of this down maybe. To about there. And for this one, yeah, we'll do something like that. We can kind of do something similar to that hand we drew today. That's cool. Turn off this. Well, let's get a good silhouette value on this guy and we'll finish him off. All right, so there's still, I think, like, how many more characters do I have? 2, 3, 4. 4 more, and then there's even more on when I laid this in, I laid it in on Procreate, and I like took up the file size to max because I laid in so many characters. So I made another, I duplicated it, deleted off some layers, and then just made another one that has even more characters. So there's so many of them on here. Clean this up a little bit. We got to fix this hand now. There we go. Got like a fist. I'll clean it up a little here because this is not supposed to be a sketch. This is going to be line art that will be colored. I wonder if it's more interesting if I have it like this, kind of. Well, I'll try to keep it like that so you can see the whole character. The only problem is that this area is so small now, I can't really see, can't see what I'm doing. And my eyesight's so pretty good. I just had my vision tested when I went to the DMV this last year, and I aced it. Like, I just nailed it. I went through that vision test so fast. I was like, I'm gonna blow this guy's socks off. And I did. And the guy was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Your vision test is no challenge for me. That's whack. So did that. I just got my driver's license renewed, like, or pretty sure got my driver's license renewed last year. And I'm gonna put this hand in now. There we go. No. No. Okay. Do a 5. I'm just gonna go through and kind of get some of the underplanes and some of the forms that are more in front. Usually do it like that. It's better. Let's do maybe a little bit of rendering. I still kind of need some stuff here. Okay. Do a little bit of rendering. Whoops. There. Gonna kind of maybe boost this up just a little bit. Gonna try and print some more of my glow in the dark stuff later today. Once I cut this live, the plan is to clip. And then I've got to go pick up my son. I'll be out of time till later on. That's okay though. So really, like, this comic book, Strength Monsters, it's full of really wacky, really over the top, kind of weird characters. And it's, it's basically an arena upon which I can draw all kinds of weird and cool stuff. I had this like professor when I was taking art classes and stuff. Like, I took some college art classes when I was in my 20s. They were pretty terrible. They were actually so bad to the point that I did not study art in college at all. But I was fortunate to find a mentor later that helped me. And that that's how I started learning. But what I was going to say is this class is called three-dimensional design, and the guy was super weird that taught it. And he's like, your sketchbook is basically, this nose is horrible, man. I'll tell you what he said later. Hold on. Let me do something like this. Nope. Okay, well, first of all, I'm on the wrong pen. Now I just need to think in terms of, okay, let's just think in terms of the structure of the nose. We have a wedge here, wedges down here, go like that, there and there. It's basically just gonna be something like that. I don't like that mouth either. He's supposed to be happy, so we can't do that. There we go. This is better. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It's way better facial expression. Boy, that guy was just, he didn't want to smile was the problem. I was like, dude, you need to smile for this shot. And he was not cooperating, you know? Luckily, I was here to get him back in line, you know? It's like, dude, you're getting back in line. You're waiting in the back where it's going to be your turn, not cutting in front of everybody just because you think you're grumpy. All right, so I was telling this story that there's this college professor, like I took this college class when I was in my 20s called three-dimensional design. It's supposed to be part of this art curriculum because I thought it would help me be an artist, and it did not. And the teacher says, he goes, your sketchbook is basically a work arena. That's all. I was like, what? A work arena? My sketchbook is a work arena? I never thought of that. And to this day, I remember him saying that. And I'm like, oh, it's a work arena. Like, it's the arena of my work. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, but it's just so, something about that whole, the way he said it, the cadence of his speech and everything was just so weird, man. But what do you expect from academics anyway, you know? What do you think you're going to get in that environment? Well, sometime this week I will get the chat configured because that's the next step that I've laid out on my progression plan. And then the next step after that is to set up the traditional live stream. So like where I can do traditional art as a live stream. And then I'm not just stuck to only live streaming all this digital work. All right. Let's just clean this up a little. This is a little bit sloppy in here, a little sketchy. Let's clean that up just enough. One thing that's really cool about Rose Bowl yesterday, though, is there's this guy vending next to me named Mo, and this dude creates and sells games like RPGs and board games and all kinds of stuff. He travels all over the country doing it. And anyway, he was super cool. He had a lot of really cool ideas about it and the game Zombie Command, but not really anything he could do to help me with that. Is I'm still in the stage where I've got to get to the play testing, and basically his advice was like, yeah, you need to just get to play testing it as soon as possible because that's how you're gonna know if you have a good idea. And I agree, but I do know I have a good idea, but I still gotta play test the game, and I don't know the exact rules of my game yet, you know. All right, so there we go. This guy is basically done. He's pretty cool, pretty weird. I'm very much happy with it. It's 2:26 already. I have to leave at 2:45, so it's going to be a short stream today. I can't keep it going, unfortunately. And there's a lot of other work I need to do today. Let's label this. First, let's save so don't lose work. If I can, I'll come back on later today and stream stuff because I've got other things that I need to work on, new animations that I need to put together. We're going to call this guy Crop Top Commando. I don't know how you spell commando. Crop Top Commando. And we'll mark this one as done. So the way I've been marking these as done is, what is this? Oh, there we go. Let's mark this blue. So see, I'll put a blue icon right there. That way I know that's done. And tomorrow, got to do another one. I got to do these guys. I did that surfer guy already. So I've got, that's done, that's done, that's done. So I've got one, two, should be three guys here. Three. I've got 3 more characters I need to do to flesh it out. I've got to do this girl here, another guy here, and another guy there. And these are guys I've already drawn, but flip them around. So I'll make them up as I go. And we'll make up wacky clothes and stuff. Maybe some point later today, I'll look at some old, like, you know, workout clothes from the 60s. Maybe I'll look at, like, casual attire from the 50s. I'll look at some 50s women's dresses or beach outfits. I don't know. And so I'll have some fresh material inside the old noggin. And I'm going to try to knock these last 2 out tomorrow. Like or 3. If I get all 3 done tomorrow, then all the penciling, all the drawing on this page is done. And just so you have an idea, that's all the characters, but then all the new characters that I've drawn are not being shown. But once I drop all those characters in, see how it fills up? And it's going to fill up with more, and then I'll pull the next page out and fill it up with even more. And there'll be just all these characters just in this scene. I'll save it here. Call it a day. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'll be back later today or tomorrow. We're going to keep this machine running. And I'll see you then. Signing out.